we finally got good information on the fresh servers and their health, and that lets us do a bit of a prediction because we already have a very good model to base on how the population is gonna evolve. As you guys know, it takes a while for people to hit 60 and raid, so every week we should see more and more people raiding until we hit a peak where like the people that hit 60 are not enough to replace the people that quit the game over time. People are always quitting the game and people are always leveling. So let's take a look at it. This is the population for the anniversary servers. And as you can see, it does include hardcore, with hardcore in particular is 82% horde, of course, because of OnlyFans. Funnily enough, if you look at that, that's 360 and 78 raiders. 438 people did a raid at all in hardcore, apparently. This is what I mean when I tell you that hardcore is a streamer project and not actual player stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, making content for entertainment is perfectly fine. They're not doing anything wrong. But like, people got this idea that hardcore is this huge thing. It's really not. Like, easily 50% of the people here are streamers. Crazy. But if we take a look at the actual overall population of hardcore plus fresh PvE, fresh PvP, all the fresh servers, we can see a straight line over there, and we can see we currently have 52,994, 53,000 freaking people raiding right now on the previous week. If we compare that to Seasonal Discovery, currently in Seasonal Discovery there is 70,000 people, more or less 69,000 people, and Cataclysm has 127. It went up a little bit, look at that. So the numbers would lead you to believe that it is very low, but actually this is a 1x experience vanilla server. Most people are not 60 yet, and a lot of the people that are 60 are not even raid ready yet. So we should actually take at the Corve here, zooming in. This is the launch of 2019 Classic, the original launch. And as you can see, it kept going up for a while. This, I think, is the launch of Blackwing Lair, and as soon as Blackwing Lair came out, the economy went to hell and people started quitting, basically. But we can extrapolate this data to come up with a more or less decent notion of how many people we're gonna get. First of all, we gotta take the data in this curve over here. So we got 5 weeks. Week 5, 53,000 players. If we go to the original launch, we go to week 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We see 112,000 players. This is in 2019, of course. And then Vanilla hits a peak of 489,000 people. And that was a peak that they hit over. This is gonna take a while. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Okay, 27 weeks. The peak was hit in week 27. We gotta figure out the number of fresh, of course, and the number here was 489,000. Now there is 2 ways we can use this as a baseline, as a model to estimate the peak that we're gonna hit this fresh. One way is that we can take week 5 of Classic 2019 and week 27 of Classic 2019, take the proportion of between the two, and then we just multiply the week 5 that we currently have, and we can come up with a curve in that way. Otherwise, we can also just take the proportion between the week 5 of 2019 and the week 5 of this fresh, and then we just take that proportion and we multiply the peak. There is issues with both of those models, because not necessarily because Classic 2019 evolved in that way where like it kept going up until week 27. That doesn't mean it's gonna keep going up until week 27 again, because we got a 1 year cycle of content, and also even if it did, there is no guarantee that it will keep growing at the same rate as 2019. As a matter of fact, it most likely will not, but I think it will be a pretty fun number to come up with here. So all we gotta do for the first estimation, we take 53,000, we divide it by 112, that is 0.47, and we multiply it by the peak week of 2019, 489. And that would tell us that Classic Fresh will peak at 231,000 raiders. That's the estimation number 1. We're gonna call it estimation A. Now we are gonna do the other model where we take the curve of Classic 2019 and we apply that curve into our fresh. 112,000 we divided by 489, and then we divide 53,000 by that. And we come up with the same result. Look at that. 231. In hindsight, that should have been a little obvious. I came with the same numbers. But anyway, okay. This should be the upper limit of what we can pick at. I do not think we're gonna hit 231,000, but this should be like a cool roof of what we can feasibly achieve in player numbers. 231,000 people would be pretty sweet. But if I were to bet, we're probably gonna be looking at something like 150,000 at the peak, probably by the launch of Blackwing Lair, something like that. That is still a lot of people, but it is not a crazy number in the grand scheme of things. Cataclysm currently has 127,000, and this is the worst performing expansion we had, well, ever in Classic. Look at that Corve right there. Yeah, this is bad. Meanwhile, Season of Discovery hit 153,000 people all the way until week phase 2. The peak of Season of Discovery was almost identical to the peak of Classic, 496,000. So yeah, the competition in that regard, like the records are not gonna be broken this phase, that's for damn sure. Don't get me wrong, the game is perfectly healthy and 150,000 people is a heck of a lot of people for 3 servers per region. You're never gonna be in a shortage of people to raid with, but the conclusion, my point I wanted to bring up with all of this is no. Fresh is not a huge phenomena, hardcore is not a huge phenomena, it is included in this data too. Hardcore is part of the results here, is 400 people, and this hints to a bigger problem, and I do not think Pandaria will fix it. And that simple problem is, how are we gonna fare up to 2024 in player numbers? Like, there is nothing coming out except Pandaria. Cool, I guess. For the entire year there is nothing coming out, and all we got to show for it is at best half a Season of Discovery peak, and that's it. Time will tell, but this just goes to confirm my little assumption when I saw Warcraft Direct last year that this was gonna be a rather slow year for World of Warcraft, and all the data seems to point towards that fact. But will you keep playing all the way through 2025? I mean, will you do AQ again? Oh boy. I just want freaking TBC, man. That's all I want. Make a man happy. All it takes is this little like this to make me happy, man. Subscribe, join the Discord, and thank you for watching.